Hey guys, it's Amber. Today I wanted to do a video on my frogs. I was asked to do this a little while ago, hadn't quite had time, and I do now, so I'm going to go ahead and do it. I have a couple frogs that are out in the garage, so I won't be showing you guys them, but they're just Cuban tree frogs that I had caught that have some cool patterns and stuff, and if you want to see pictures of them, I believe I posted them on my AMP Reptiles and Exotics page, so you can check them out there. So I'm going to just go through real quick and show you what I got going on, give you a little bit of information, and we'll call that a day. Here you have my tubs. These are just from Dollar Tree. They're nothing special. They're not huge, but they're not small either. I keep the babies in here. Just easy to do maintenance on them. They're stackable. They have a little air vent. And I don't close these down completely, so they're not sealed or anything. There's plenty of airflow. I open them once a day at least anyways to clean waters, spot clean, feed, all of that, so not a big deal. So right here I have a Pac-Man, and Pac-Man frogs come in a lot of different colors and varieties and morphs and things. I got this little guy because he was really dark with those 3 little stripes. He's really interesting. I just fed everybody, so they're probably going a little crazy too. He may grow out of that color, he may not. I'm not really sure. We'll see. Sometimes they keep their colors, sometimes they brighten. We'll see. They're kind of unpredictable, really. Right now I'm feeding him crickets, but I also do feed all of my frogs earthworms, waxworms, hornworms, superworms, kind of a little bit of everything, just to give them a good variety. When they're a little bit bigger, they'll get a Pinky Mouse as a treat every now and again. Don't want to give them too much as it can cause digestive issues. So I just have some topsoil here with a little bowl of water that he can get into if he needs to. You want to try to avoid dry sphagnum moss and things like that, as they can cause impaction. Sometimes I've had it happen to frogs before where they came in sphagnum moss and they ended up basically prolapsing. And when I opened up the frog, it was wrapped around its intestines, so kind of a bummer. So I definitely try to avoid that. Here is another Pac-Man frog, a little green one. And the Pac-Man frogs, the females do get larger than the males, and that's pretty typical. The males will stay smaller, and they will also have a little nodule on their thumb, basically, kind of like in between here, and that's kind of to grip when they're mating and things like that. This little guy is on paper towel because he came in with a bacterial infection on his eye. It's getting much better, but I clean this out daily. He has fresh water, fresh paper towel. He also gets tongue fed, and he's doing really well. It's getting a lot better, so I'm glad he's healing. He's very spoiled though. He only likes to tongue feed. Another pack. And another pack. Next I have my baby pixie frogs. You guys have probably seen my very large adult male African bullfrog or pixie frog, giant African bullfrog. They go by a few names, but these are the baby versions, and they're very cute. These guys can't actually get basketball size, so technically Tantor could get a lot bigger. They can also live around 60 years, so it is a long-lived pet. So they're really easy to care for, but they do get large. They are pretty active, and you definitely want to make sure that you can commit to them for that long. Babies. I'll show you Tantor for those of you who haven't seen him. He is back there. He had 2 small rats about a week or so ago, so he's kind of digesting, but he is very large. He's probably the size of a large grapefruit or so, I guess, if I had to compare it. I'm gonna get up here. Next I'll show you Gumbo. Gumbo is a white tree frog. They're also called dumpy tree frogs or Australian green tree frogs. They kind of go by a lot of names. These are a tree frog. So obviously they stick to the glass quite a bit, unlike the Pac-Mans and Pixie who bury more so. They're almost more toad-like than these tree frog is. but she's super cute. Might not be able to see her super well because the light is kind of behind her, but she's got some cute little spots. She's not huge, but she's not small either. She could get quite a bit bigger. I've seen whites get twice this size. She is in a very basic setup right now because she is still in quarantine. I believe she's wild caught, so I just want to make sure that she's eating well and pooping well and doing all the frog-like things she should be doing before I move her into a more naturalistic setup. But I clean this out pretty frequently and make sure she's sprayed down and doing well, and she is doing really well, so probably won't be too much longer before I set her up a little better. And of course the front of the glass has water spots everywhere. This little guy, if you can see him, is a tiger leg tree frog. Tiger leg monkey frog, I guess. Sorry. Let me see if I can see him without messing with him too much. You gotta be careful. Frogs absorb things through their skin, so the oils and salts from our hands can sometimes be detrimental to them. There we go. Focus. And these guys are called that because they have these really pretty stripes along the back sides of their legs. Let's see if I can just grab them very gently. Not so much. Show me your leg? No. I do have pictures of them on my Facebook page if you want to check them out. Also on my Instagram, there's also pictures. Real quick, I will take you in and show you my axolotls. I'm gonna walk through the house and into the bedroom, so pardon. There's Lurch. Hi, Lurch. Sorry, wrangling the dogs. Stop, bub. So here are my axolotls. Don't mind Lurch squeaking a toy back there. The one up front here is Wonton, and she is an albino. She has the clear red eyes. And back there is Dumpling. She is a leucistic. She is also white, but she has she has blue eyes, but they can have blue or black eyes. And these guys are technically amphibians. They are a larval form of a salamander from Mexico, and they are one that can stay in their larval form their whole entire life. They can breed in this form, which is really interesting. They can regenerate body parts, whole arms, legs, tails. They're pretty cool. There's a lot of research around them to kind of pinpoint their regenerative abilities. But they're really neat. They need to be kept very cool, so that's why I have them in the bedroom with my AC unit pointed directly at them. Their water stays about 63 degrees, which is ideal for them. Their setup is pretty minimalistic. Some sand that's very fine because they can ingest it. I do have some plants in here, a low flow filter, don't mind the water spots. And they are carnivorous, so they'll eat fish, they'll eat worms, they'll eat pellet foods, things like that sink, bloodworms. So they get a lot of the same things that my fish get. So that'll be it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it and enjoyed seeing the frogs. I love frogs and I enjoy showing them off. And I hope you all have a good weekend, and I'll see you next time.